President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have emphasized the spirit of sacrifice and brotherhood as Pakistan celebrates Eid al-Adha. Special prayers were offered nationwide for progress and security, with President Zardari in Nawabshah and PM Shehbaz in Lahore. Both leaders urged sharing Eid joy with those in need, while also reflecting on global struggles in Palestine and Kashmir. Meanwhile, Pakistan's government has identified significant fiscal risks for the upcoming budget and medium-term outlook. Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb highlighted concerns including higher interest rates, currency depreciation, and challenging revenue targets. The government aims for a record revenue of 12.97 trillion rupees amid economic uncertainties, emphasizing stable policies to attract investments and address climate impacts through initiatives like a natural disaster fund. Today in Gaza, Israeli attacks continue to exact a heavy toll. Palestinian journalist Mahmoud Qasim is among the latest casualties, bringing the total number of media workers killed during the war to 151, as reported by the Gaza government media office. Fierce Israeli attacks persist in Rafah, causing extensive destruction to homes and infrastructure. At least 5 children are among the dozens of Palestinians killed in central and southern Gaza over the past day alone. The toll of the conflict now stands at over 37,000 dead and 85,000 injured since October 7th. Meanwhile, efforts for humanitarian aid face challenges despite announced plans by Israel's military for tactical pauses along Gaza's aid corridor, as confirmed by UNRWA chief Philippe Lazzarini, who noted no changes on the ground. In Israel, political developments unfold as Netanyahu disbanded the war cabinet, rejecting far-right ministers' requests to join following resignations from Benny Gantz and Gadi Eisenkot. In a separate development, anti-government protesters have disrupted Israeli highways for a second consecutive day and are planning a rally at the Knesset tonight, followed by a march to Netanyahu's residence. Internationally, Norway has announced increased funding for UNRWA, underscoring concerns over the Palestinian Authority's challenges in the occupied West Bank. Meanwhile, Israel is contemplating sanctions against the PA and nations recognizing Palestine, signaling further diplomatic tensions. At least 15 people have died and dozens were injured in India's West Bengal state after a cargo train collided with the Kanchenjunga Express in Darjeeling district. Initial reports suggest human error caused the accident. Rescue teams are working to clear debris and assist victims. West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has dispatched doctors, ambulances, and disaster response teams to the site. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw confirmed casualties and said the injured are receiving medical care. The collision occurred when a freight train ignored a signal and struck the passenger train from behind. India's railways, one of the busiest in the world, suffer frequent accidents despite recent efforts to upgrade safety measures. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has welcomed Chinese Premier Li Qiang to the Australian Parliament in Canberra for high-level talks. This 4-day visit, the first by a Chinese premier in 7 years, follows Beijing's removal of tariffs on major Australian exports. At a news conference, Albanese raised concerns about human rights in China, the Pacific region, and the Russia-Ukraine war, emphasizing the importance of candid dialogue and a peaceful, stable, and prosperous world. Premier Li described the meeting as candid and fruitful, announcing that Australia will join China's visa waiver program. Li was greeted with a brass band, a military guard of honor, and a 19-gun salute. Relations between Australia and China have been strained in recent years over issues such as Australia's ban on Huawei from its 5G network, calls for an investigation into the COVID-19 pandemic, and concerns over China's military behavior in international waters. Despite these tensions, trade between the two countries reached $327 billion Australian dollar last year, indicating significant economic ties. In a related news, China and the Philippines are blaming each other for a collision between their boats in the South China Sea. The China Coast Guard claims a Philippine supply ship caused the incident by ignoring warnings and approaching dangerously. The Philippines rejected this account, accusing China of escalating tensions. The collision occurred near the disputed Spratly Islands, which Beijing calls Renai Reef. China accuses the Philippines of illegally entering its territory, while the Philippines asserts that the incident took place within its exclusive economic zone and that China's actions in the area are illegal. An international tribunal rejected China's claims to the South China Sea in 2016, but Beijing has ignored the ruling. The two nations have repeatedly exchanged accusations over maritime incidents in the region.